لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله.
Regarding the questioner's mom, she's asking on her behalf. She's not able to sit down for sajda because of her knees. She sits on a chair for it. She wanted to know about the qiyam and ruku', if she's required to do them sitting, as she's able to stand and do them normally.
So she's not able to?
So she's not able to sit on the ground for the sajda.
Yeah. So if someone is unable to prostrate, then they're not required to stand. Right? The legal explanation of it is somewhat nuanced, but certainly in the Hanafi school, the standing in prayer is understood to be a means of prostrating, right? Of prostrating. And if the end is lifted, then the means to that ends is also lifted. And you see that in the prophetic practice as well, that when the Prophet, peace and blessings be upon him, prayed with head movements, he's understood not to have stood in that. And this is the reasoning for which it's understood. So if one is able to stand and prostrate, then one prays standing. If one cannot, then one sits on the ground. One cannot without undue hardship, then one prays sitting down with prostration. So that's the second degree. One prays standing with prostration if one can. If one can't pray standing with prostration, then one prays sitting on the ground with prostration. Prostration being to place one's forehead on the ground. If one cannot pray sitting down with prostration, then one prays with head movements as best one can. And this third level of prayer, when you cannot prostrate, then praying with head movements, you can sit however is facilitated for you. And you do not lose any reward if this is due to inability or undue hardship. In that situation, when you pray with head movements, you bend your head just slightly for the bowing, for the ruku', and slightly more for the sujood, the prostration. And you're not expected to bow deeply. It's actually against the prophetic sunnah to make a deep bowing in that case. And we have a few answers on how does the person who is sick or unwell pray, including a video answer that details some of the considerations, including also if someone, a useful thing to know is that ability, Allah Most High tells us in the Quran, لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا وسعها. Allah does not make a person responsible for more than they are able. So from that, the scholars of Islam took a principle that a person is only able with their own ability. So for example, if someone's in hospital and they had some operation, if they are not able to go and make wudu by themselves, or they're able to but only with undue hardship, then they're not expected to. And they don't have to take the means of asking others to bring them water, etc. Although if it's easy, then that's fine. But a person is not able with the ability of another. So in that situation, even if the washrooms is down the hall, you can make dry ablution. You can make tayammum. And we have a number of answers explaining how the dry ablution is done. One takes just a small pebble, rubs it with the intention of being able to pray, and one wipes one's face completely, rubs it again, one rubs it a second time, and one wipes both arms fully and completely, and that's the dry ablution. Of course, you don't do it over your clothes, you do it over your arms.
لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله